You know what would be better than watching this commercial? Watching your commercial. Join the party that is Make Your Day Richer TV by advertising your brand, business, or project during the show. Use us to promote what you're doing to make our viewers' day richer. Scan the QR code or visit makeyourdayricher.com/advertising to start promoting today.
Make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Make Your Day Richer. I am your host today, Richard Wilmore. Hope you're all having a great day. Hey, 86,000 views and downloads of this show. Not too shabby. Thank you so much for everybody who watches the show. I appreciate it so much. We get to share so many amazing people with you, and I'm so glad that you all tune in every day, Monday through Friday, to see whoever we have on and embrace this show. I love it so much that I get to do this. And so that's why a little story time for you from yesterday. You may or may not have seen a show yesterday, and then you didn't see a show because it got taken down. And I want to tell you what happened yesterday. So I have wanted to be a talk show host since I was like 10 years old. And I take this job very seriously, to bring on great guests, one, to share with you, and also to provide a space when the guest is here that they are relaxed and they are having fun and it's enjoyable and they want to come back and they are giving 100%. I'm giving 100%. This entire show was done by me. I don't have any help doing the show with the graphics, with all the stuff that happens on the show, the editing, the videos, all of it's done by me. And so sometimes there's an oopsie, and usually it glides by, or I put up the wrong graphic at the wrong time or whatever. And yesterday, if you saw the show, I have three different monitors. There's a monitor up here, there's this monitor on this tablet here, and then I have another monitor over there. And on a couple of the monitors, I was noticing that there was a lag. And I was like, it's very jumpy. What's going on? I don't know. Well, that seems weird. But every time I looked at this monitor, it was fine. And so I thought, all right, well, maybe it's like, this is a brand new tablet. But I thought, well, whatever. And then the monitor over there is an old laptop. And I thought, well, maybe the laptop's just old. And so I never thought anything of it. I thought, well, whatever, technology. I don't know anything about technology. And so we had a great show yesterday with Brizzo and all kinds of fun. And people were watching and people were commenting and people were liking. And I went to go upload it because then it goes out on podcast platforms and everywhere else. And I noticed that it took over an hour to put it on Spotify, and it usually takes 20 seconds. And I was like, what is going on? So of course I call Tony down here, and he's like, well, you're not connected to the Ethernet. Like, we're hardwired in. Like, this camera is hardwired to the monitor, the computer that does this. It's hardwired into the internet, Ethernet, whatever. And I was like, well, why? And it wasn't hardwired. It was like Wi-Fi. And I was like, well, how come? So we were trying to figure that out. And then I looked at yesterday's show, and it was a complete blur fest. And I lost it. I started crying. Like, I don't know what happened to me. I started bawling. I was like, oh, what am I doing? Should I not be having this show? What is going on? Like, it just sent me into this spiral of like, what am I doing here? Why is this so difficult to put this show on? And what am I doing wrong? Or what have I done to like deserve this? That's what I went to. And it was embarrassing. I don't want Brizzo to look at that show and go, well, what did I go on that show for? It was awful. It happened to Deborah Cohen, great guest that we had on a couple weeks ago, and something screwed up, and it's a live show. And so I can't go back and edit it before it goes out because it's out. And it makes me so frustrated because I work so hard and I'm so proud of this show. I really am. And there's so much that I want to do with this show. And so then it went into a whole thing. And then after I cried for an hour, I was like, okay, let's regroup. I had 3 more interviews, thanks to our friends at Podmatch. And the final interview that I did yesterday at 4:30, I was talking to the guest who's David McBee, who's coming up in a couple of weeks. We recorded the interview yesterday. And I was wrapping up the interview, and he said, I need to stop you for a second. And I was like, oh God, what did I do? And he was like, I'm on a lot of shows. I have my own show. I do research on my guests. I do research when I go on a show to, see what their vibe is, whatever. And he said, you are you're so good at this. You make it so comfortable. Like you are meant to be a talk show host. And I started crying in the middle of this interview. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I don't know what's going on. But it was such a I always say this to my friend Stacy, who has been on this show, Stacy Andon. I always say hashtag, she needs a hashtag, Stacy said so, because there's so many things that she says to me, to other people that end up, well, there she is right now, that end up, yes, Stacy, that is Stacy. Go find Stacy and watch her podcast, Everyday Enchantment. Anyway, yeah, Stacy said so. And it just everything clicked in, and I was like, okay, you know what? Let's move on. What's the worst that happens? You know what we do? We have 2 people. We have 2 great guests for you today, and the world keeps moving on. So that's why we have 2 guests today. And so I hope you stick around for both of them, because we are re-airing Brizzo's episode today because he deserves to have a really good show, as does everybody. Deborah Cohen has been asking me when she's going to have her show edited. We're going to she is my Christmas present. So her episode is going to re-air on Christmas, an edited version of the awful one that went out. So I hope you stick around for that as well. Anyway, that was my story. And that was too long of an explanation of what happened yesterday. But I just love this show so much. And I'm so appreciative to everybody who watches and everybody who comes on, that when it doesn't go out how I want it to go out, it's so frustrating. But we continue. And there you go, because hashtag Stacy said so. All right. What else do I have to tell you? Because there's a lot. And speaking of great things with this show, thanks to my friend Rich Bennett, who I have known since I lived in Maryland in 2015, 16, and 17. I get to be on his network. This show is now on the Chesapeake Podcast Network. So thank you, Rich Bennett. If I had clapping, see, again, here, we're going to do this. Let's try this again. Why not? You're a live show. We are a part of the Chesapeake Podcast Network, thanks to our friend Rich Bennett. And so you can check that out. We'll put the link in the comments so you can go check out Rich and everything he's got a great platform. He's been podcasting for years. And y'all should go check him out and support him because we love him here. All right. It is National Cookie Day. These are my new favorite cookies. They're called Rule Breakers. And they're a big box of bites. They are tiny little cookies that are so effing good. They're vegan, which is why I grabbed them. They're super soft, like almost maybe it feels like they're undercooked. So if you like that kind of cookie, get these. These are newly added to my gift guide that I have available for you. So if you're looking for a fun gift for yourself or for someone else any time of year, go to makeyourdayricher.com/shop. There's all kinds of fun stuff there, from cookies to coffee to vacuums. And we're adding stuff all the time. And these are all things that I love, use every day in my life. And I wanted to share them with you. So go there and go shopping and get these cookies and put them out as if they're your own. They have all kinds of flavors, but this is the only one that I've had, and they're amazing. All right, so happy National Cookie Day. So enjoy, everyone. And also, because my life is really just amazing. This weekend, I get to be Katie Kirk at the Thanksgiving Day Parade, but only I'll be in Waxhaw, North Carolina at the Christmas Parade. And so thanks to all my friends at the Waxhaw Parks and Rec who are allowing me to come do that. So if you're in the area, head on over to Waxhaw, North Carolina. Sunday, 3 to 5, I believe, is the Christmas Parade. Santa and I will be hanging out. And it's going to be a really fun time. So please, please, please come hang out with us there. Dress warm, but expect to have a good time. All right, that is it. I try to keep this under 10 minutes, and we're at 11:12, but that's, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. We have a really, really great show today. Keekee Suki is here making his directorial debut in a movie that I just found out he wrote. And come on. It's called Mr. Marbles, and it premieres this weekend. So if you were in San Antonio, you're going to learn all about how to go see that movie. We also have Brizzo here. So we're crocheting with Brizzo, who is a fantastic, fantastic artist that you are going to want to meet. And you can today on this episode that is hopefully clear. All right, take a look at the trailer for Mr. Marbles, and we'll be right back with Keekee after this. Don't go away.
The story is called Mr. Marbles. No. I got a story for you. We'll talk about your daddy another time.
How's my favorite historian?
If you ever drown me.
I'm leaving that friend, Mr. Marbles.
A doll made of hay and straw.
Story, children.
Tired of harsh chemicals in your home? Let's change that. At EcoGlow Cleaning, we bring eco-friendly expertise right to your doorstep. We will make your day richer by bringing a glow to your home or office. For over 20 years, EcoGlow Cleaning has been the trusted choice for professional cleaning services in the Charlotte area. From deep cleaning to regular maintenance, EcoGlow Cleaning offers a wide range of services. All services are tailored to your needs and schedule. Our eco-friendly products ensure a healthy and safe environment for you and your family, including your pets. For a free quote, visit our website at www.ecoglowcleaning.com or give us a call at 704-777-9768. EcoGlow Cleaning is a proud sponsor of Make Your Day Richer TV.
I'm ready.
Okay, good. We're back, everybody, and I'm here with Brizzo. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I am doing great. We're in the winter months. I'm a winter baby, and it's cozy season where I can wear all the stuff that I'm making.
Yes, and you make it, which is fantastic. So people talk about social media being a good thing, a bad thing, whatever, but sometimes you stumble upon someone who's super creative and talented, and then you get to have them on your show. And that's how I came across you. Somehow you ended up on my Instagram, and here we are. So
I love that. I was curious where you found me first, because I always post on my TikTok first, and then it makes its way over to Instagram. But no, I love that you found me on Instagram.
You froze. Oh, there, you're back. Oh, you're just frozen. Wait, okay. There, we're back. Okay. I don't know. You froze for a second. Maybe it was TikTok, and then I saw your I don't know how it worked. Either way, I'm glad you're. Yes, you've been crocheting since you were 7.
Yeah, so when I was a young little boy, I had a step grandma, and I would go stay with my grandma and grandpa every summer. And she would make these amazing Afghans, and she was so fast at doing it. And I was just like entranced in watching her create these things while we'd stay with her for a week. So as a little 7-year-old, little closeted gay boy I like saw crochet and I was like, my grandma does this. Is this like a lady thing? Like, I don't see a lot of guys doing this in, the early 90s. And so anyway, I ended up asking her, I'm like, can you just teach me how to do it? And I made my first blanket when I was probably like 8 is when I actually finished it, 8 or 9. And then I was constantly making things throughout high school. And I always joke like, crochet is what got me through my art history lectures in college.
Something had to.
Something had to. Yes. So I've been doing it since I was little. And then kind of stopped when I was out of college, just because, life caught up. I was trying to get a job and do all these different like things, and just kind of took me away from doing the craft. And then it was about 3 years ago now, at the time that we're talking, where I got sober, and I really needed something for my hands to do to like keep me occupied. So I got back into crochet. At that point, I had like never read a pattern. I had done like 2 stitches. So over the last 3 years, I've really been excited and like just keeping interested in the craft and wanting to learn something with each new project that I do. So I've learned how to read patterns, all these different stitches. I have like a huge library of books and things that I draw from, and in addition to what I find online to kind of help further my art form.
When you're using your hands like that and creating as part of kind of your, I guess, sobriety story, right? Is that what you call it?
Journey, story. Yeah, story.
Yes. I was going to say journey, but then I was like, I don't know, that sounds very cliche. What is that like to create like that and to have something physical? Like, what does that do for you to create like that as I don't know what that was. Something just fell. Okay.
It's a ghost somewhere out there.
Something's back there doing something.
It's the ghost of my past just coming in.
Yes.
Right.
Like, wait a minute. Yeah, we're still here. Yeah.
Yes. So no, I think that's a really great question. When I was getting sober, I was attending groups, and I was attending like I had my personal therapist, I had my group therapy, and then I also had like a sobriety therapist. I was really therapy heavy. And like one thing that kind of came out from there is like, whatever you are struggling with as an adult is actually something that like little you wants to explore. And like, I remember when my step grandma was teaching me how to crochet, she was like, you need to like just do something that like makes you like have fun. Like if you're interested in this, just like explore that. And they were really good at like cultivating that. So it was kind of that separation of making things, and like that like really brought me back to it. And I was like, oh, like little Brizzo wanted to do this. So, and like, I remember I had this vision of like, I want to like do this as a full-time job. And I don't do it as a full-time job, but I do sell works that I make. And, that was not like the intention when I like got back into sobriety. It was to feed little me and be like, hey, you need to do this thing that you were really involved in. Like some of the talks that we had is like emotional maturity is really stifled when you begin using at like the age when I was using and drinking and all of those things. And I wanted to like go back and kind of nurture little me to help deal with the things that I had was, the demons that I was going with in my adult life. Yeah. So I think like and that's different for everyone, but for me, it was like, oh, let's just make silly things. And the like art of creating something and like starting with like just string and a hook in your fingers, and then being able to like have like a tangible object at the end. It's like, oh, like this is a physical manifestation of the time that I would have been wasting otherwise in like a stupor or something. This is something that like I can show, and like I also like get praise back because I'll gift things, or I share them with the internet, and having that like physical representation of your time spent that towards something that is productive and brings you joy, it just made the most sense for my journey to actually explore something like this, teach myself how to do something, and keep me busy, because you're counting the whole time when you're making stuff.
So it's a good distraction. It's a good, probably meditation. Once you get good at it, I'm assuming it's very meditative.
It is, yeah. At my full-time job, once a month we get together and like do something fun. And I was like, I'm going to teach you how to crochet. It's not really fun for everyone, but just like seeing them and like, you know, I'm like teaching them the foundations. I'm like, here's how to make a chain. We spent an hour doing that, and some of them got it. But like,
that's why it's important to find the art form that works for you, but to try everything and see what works.
But at the end, I'm just like kind of talking with them as I'm making like a little ghost keychain, and which I gave to one of them. They're like, how are you doing that so fast? Are you even like paying attention? I was like, oh, I mean, like I'm counting, but it's like way back here. Like I'm talking to you up here. This is all happening back here. I've been doing this for over half my life at this point. So yeah, no, what do we talk about?
Wow, that's insane. So you made the thing you're wearing.
I did,
which
yes.
It's crazy to me. And you what kind of stuff do you make? Because you have a form that people can go and order stuff from you. It's great stuff. Check out his social media, because that's what I was like, you've got stuff for Christmas. You've got all kinds of stuff. So tell everybody, maybe show some of the stuff that you make.
Yeah. So the thing that like a lot of people come to me for is toys. Like I do, wearables are not necessarily my forte. I'm very proud of this. I found this pattern on the internet and adopted it to fit me. I want to like make more stuff like this. But what people kind of find me for is they see some form of Pokemon. So with me today, this was a Christmas gift last year of a life-size Pikachu.
How long does that take?
This took me 4 days, 3 or 4 days.
Like how many hours a day? Like all day?
Some of them all day. There will be some Saturdays where I'm cozied up. But no, like a lot of people have seen me from a Charizard that I made. That took me 4 days, and 2 of those days were spent most of the day working on it. But you know, I'm eating in between things. I love to snack. I have a dog that requires my attention, and I have to like go out into the world. So no, I'm spending time between projects, but I do sink a lot of the time into these. It's my downtime kind of like quiet activity. So he took just a couple of days. My most recent project is this Togetic. He's going off to California. He's a project that someone ordered from me. And he took 5 days as well too. And he's a little bit more intricate than Pikachu. He's got the wings. His feet and his legs are made separately. I had to design and cut out all of the pieces, which I then cut out on my Cricut for him. His face is all cut up. He has these different spikes on his head. There are 2 pieces there. So a lot of different elements. And this is 2 pieces of thick wool yarn that I'm working together. So he also took a bit of time. And then my boss had ordered a Mew for his son, the other Charizard that's on my page right now. He also ordered, but he wanted a smaller one. So I got to keep this life-size Mew to be buddies with my Pikachu.
That thing looks huge. It's larger than your head.
It's quite big. It's really fun. The idea really started because we were watching Pokemon, and my husband was like, I want just a life-size Pikachu that I can hold. And I was like, hold on, I can do that. I know I have the skills to make this happen. So yeah, I got a lot of the Mews in Togetic are not from a book that I have that Pokemon put out. It's an official crochet pattern book. So a lot of the ones that you'll see on my social media are from that book, and the rest I kind of find online and continue to make.
Amazing. What is there something that you love to make that you'll make just like on a day you have nothing else to do that you're like, I can whip that up?
What a good question. Short answer is not really.
Yeah.
I try to keep myself really busy, and like I always want to make something that expands my skill set. So I do really love to make the Pokemon, and you know, like the Mew, I was like, I had created this one for my boss, and I was like, this is big. I have this other like chenille yarn that's really soft. I think this could be a good size for, you know, an 8-year-old, like a smaller human than someone who's 6 feet tall like I am. So I like to go back to the Pokemon. I guess if I like am really just like, oh, like what do I want to make? I'm kind of between projects. I do have a big hat collection. You know, I don't have hair to play with. So I have a hat pattern that I really love to make. It's like a basket weaving stitch. And can kind of make that in my sleep, and I can put that together in like a couple of hours. So if I need to add to the 50 hats that I already have, I will make myself a new hat.
That's funny. So if people are looking maybe for holiday gifts, birthday, like coming up with everything, what is the turnaround time for people if they're ordering?
Yeah, so right now I am booked through the holidays, through
Okay, never mind.
but if you're looking for next year, to place your orders kind of in the early fall, late summer, because depending on the project, like for example, this sweater that I'm wearing, that took me a month to make. I can probably make it, and I had to actually pull the whole thing out and restart it at one point too, so that wouldn't happen again. I know I've learned from my mistakes, but yeah, so like I'm booked out, and it's just the time to like create the content, the time to get the yarn, because I have a nice collection of yarn, but there's specific colors when you're working with branded content like Pokemon. So yeah, expect at least a month before you get, but from the time you order to the time you get it in your hands, and it could be longer depending on what you're ordering.
As someone who grew up creative and loving crocheting this long, what does that feel like to now be like, I'm so sorry, I don't have time, I'm booked out? Like that you have to have so many probably like pinch me moments, right?
I do go back to my step grandma said, she's like, oh, like no one's gonna wanna like if you want to do crochet full time, like maybe, but like it's so expensive to like make money off of it and do stuff. And now I'm like, oh no, like these are luxury items that I'm selling. I value the time. I come from an arts background. I have worked around artists for most of my adult life. So I'm like, no, I do price these things, and to have people like, oh no, I still want this is really touching. To think I'm like, oh, am I good at this? Like, it's really rewarding. It feels really great to share this. The only thing that I miss is the reaction of people seeing it when they get it in person. A lot of the Pokemon and the toys that I make, I am a very happy uncle, and I love giving my nieces and nephews their gifts at the holiday time. This year I made a blanket for one in their favorite color for all 5 of them. This is something my step grandma did, and I'm like, oh, I'm like really excited for the holidays to see their reaction. And they don't have to like it, but still just to see, engage, and see like the value and like the reward from their time back is really cool. One of my friends is the one who ordered the Christmas stockings that are currently up on my page. And she sent me the photo of them like hanging above their fireplace. And I was just like, oh, this is so
I did that.
I did that. I get to be part of someone else's life with this heirloom object that they've invested in for years to come. And that has been a really surreal, fun experience. Like if I see other content and crochet people who do this full time, and I'm always kind of watching and trying to like slowly build into my own little Brizzo empire of how I can incorporate this more, because the feeling that you get when someone has an object that you've put time and energy and love into is just a really, really wonderful feeling.
It has to be. What do you love most about your life right now?
I think, so we just moved into our home here now, and I have the a whole room that is dedicated to, it's our guest room, but it's where all my yarn lives. It's like a 5-foot-by-7 wall of yarn. And I think I have the space to be really creative, to show off the works. And right now it's just been really fun to be able to share that with more people and to get like a lot of positive feedback on the work that I'm doing. That has been a really fun and kind of unexpected journey to go on now. And I'm just really loving being able to share that with so many people.
What is the best way that people can connect with you and follow you and order stuff?
Yeah, so my TikTok and Instagram are Brizzo, Brizzo, with 4 underscores after it. Look for me in a toad hat.
Was there a Brizzo with 3 underscores?
Yes, 4 was the magic number.
Wow. Okay.
So on both of those, I have a link tree that goes to my order form, and that talks about pricing and how I like operate. So that is the best way. If you have something that you're excited about having, send that to me. I always say, like I've talked about in our conversation today, I'm excited to make new stuff. So like, if you have a crazy idea, send that to me. Like a pattern might not exist, but I would love to push myself and help make something for you.
I love that. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your joy and creativity and your story with everybody. It's really inspiring.
Thank you so much for having me and allowing me to share it with the world.
We'll come back anytime you want.
I will.
All right. We'll be right back after this break. Don't go away.
Your body is whispering secrets to you about the life you're here to live. Decode the messages about the joy you're meant to experience despite, or maybe because of, the condition that upended everything you thought you knew. If you're ready to make magic and meaning of your one wild and precious life, learn more about coaching with Nona at nonajordan.com.
I don't know what happened to it. It's out there somewhere, but I couldn't find it. We have a lot to catch up on, sir.
Indeed.
You're making your directorial debut this weekend, correct?
Yes. It's my film called Mr. Marbles.
You've been acting for how long?
Be almost 20 years this coming year.
So why the dive into directing?
Honestly, it's just another path of creativity. I feel like putting these films together and putting and constructing a complete story and timeline is just such an amazing feat. And as an actor, you really don't realize how hard it is to put together a production until you dive into it.
Would you do it again?
Oh, absolutely.
Good. Tell everybody what Mr. Marbles is about.
So Mr. Marbles is about a slave doll that was created in turmoil. The slave owner had unfortunately killed a slave and faceted one of the slaves, which was a sister of the slave, to make this doll in commemorance to never disobey or basically make the slave owner mad again. And when she did so, she was a voodoo priestess and she cursed the doll. So as time went on, the former slave owner, he passed away. He left the property to the siblings, and they stumbled across this doll, and it's always been kind of a rumor in the family about the doll. Well, the doll comes back to life and basically takes out the family.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I know it's premiering this weekend. I've been seeing on social media that tickets keep selling out. And so you keep adding shows. So tell everybody kind of the details of that. Hopefully they can get tickets after watching this, but they may not.
Yeah. So basically we're at City Base Cinemas here in San Antonio, Texas. We had a 7 o'clock showing. Our red carpet is going to be at 6, but we've now opened up a second theater for a 7:30 showing. So I'm super excited. I'm so glad that San Antonio is coming out. You know, I feel it's super important that San Antonio builds our film community. We have so much talent here. And it's so great to be a part of this movement of getting people to support each other and to see so many people coming out to support my short. Well, it's not a short film, but it's feature, but to support this film, I mean, it's just amazing.
I haven't lived in San Antonio in almost 2 years now, but what I miss about it is that community. Like the arts in San Antonio is booming, and I don't think people realize that. I did a show, my old show from 2018 to 2022 there, and I mean the amount of people making films on my show, it's unbelievable, kind of the talent that is in that city.
Yeah, there is, and you know, as San Antonio grows, we have I know they just built a Paramount studio outside of Bastrop. Hill Country Club is building a studio right outside of there in San Marcos, and then they're supposed to be building another major studio here in San Antonio, with them just doing 1923, and so it's pretty amazing to see the city start to blossom and the film community growing. And I couldn't imagine being here at any other time, because I remember when I was younger and I was just new into film and starting out, you know, that was before we had Zoom and things like that. So, you know, being in those cattle calls and standing in a line of 300 people was just absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, I bet there are many ways, kind of like in this area of shows, online shows and podcasts, that it's fun, that it's easier to get into, but also it's easier to get into, so a lot more people are doing it, which can be interesting. Where you grew up in Hawaii, right?
Yeah, so my dad is from Kauai in Hawaii. My dad is Japanese Hawaiian, and then my mother is from Oklahoma, and she's Cherokee, Irish, French. But you know, I grew up between San Antonio and Hawaii. My dad was in Hawaii. That's home for them. And then my mom was recently remarried, and he was ex-military, worked for Boeing. So he moved out here to San Antonio. So my whole life, it was San Antonio, Hawaii, San Antonio, Hawaii. And it just gave such a, I can honestly say it gave me a very, very big diversity of being able to be a little bit more cultured as a human being. Because you just saw life in different facets, and both places were melting pots, you know, being the tourist industry in Hawaii and seeing so many different varieties of people coming through Hawaii, and then being here in San Antonio with it being a military town, you dealt with so many different diverse individuals, and it just makes life so much more beautiful when you have such diversity.
Did you always want to be an actor, even as a kid?
Yes, I started off doing hip hop and rap, if you can actually believe it. I did hip hop and rap for, I would say, a good 8-9 years. And then when I moved out here to San Antonio, I did my first kind of like featured extra role in a film called Lowrider Weekend. And that's where I met Danny De La Paz and Jesse Borrego. And we became friends, and I just kind of like melted into the film community after that.
So you're telling me that there's music out there from you that I wish, see, if I had a better show, I'd be like, and here's the music video you didn't know we had, but I don't have that. Do you miss
Yeah, there
making
is
music?
music out there.
I'm going to find it. I'm going to find it. Do you miss making music?
From time to time, you know, I think what it was with my music career is I didn't have the confidence. I literally at the time when I was doing my music, I got booked for the first Vans Off the Wall tour. Wow. And I got so intimidated by it because that was Fred Durst, that was Korn, that was like Limp Bizkit in the beginning. Like, I think now it's just like, man, I missed such a big opportunity, but I just did not have the confidence level of an artist the way that I have my confidence with my acting and my directing and stuff. So and honestly, as a professional and as a businessman, I look at life a lot better. I don't think I would have taken the reins properly as a youth.
Did you have confidence in your acting ability right away, or did that also take time?
Oh, that took time. Absolutely. Yeah. You know, you go to your acting classes and you go through enough defeats, you know, you start to really appreciate those victories. And what I mean by that is when you do so many auditions and you go out and you're in person, you're battling for a role with 100 to 200 people, and you just get no after no after no after no. And after the 1,000th no, you're just like, okay, I'm doing something wrong. I need to fix what I'm doing. Somehow I've got to polish this steel and figure out what I'm doing wrong. And honestly, I don't know if you remember back in the day, they used to have like acting conventions that used to go to the mall, best new talent and things like that. So I did one of those big functions and I went all the way to LA. I made it to the final level. I went to LA. I flew out there. I ran the gambit of, I did comedic acting, I did acting, and at the time I was doing bodybuilding, so I did fitness. I did nothing with my acting. I did nothing with my comedy. I won first place overall in fitness. But being there in that moment and watching all the other talented actors and watching the caliber of actors that were on that palette it was just magnificent, and it really showed me that I that I needed to step up my game. I needed to get into acting classes. I needed to really tweak what I was doing as a talent. And that's basically all I did. Was I was like, you know what, let's change the format. Let's really make this into a business and put my best foot forward.
Is that, I mean, what would be your advice for, because I would assume that it's not often that you hear of someone in the industry for that amount of time, unless you're, you know, Tom Cruise, because it's so much work. What would your advice be for people wanting to get into it, or who maybe are struggling to kind of find their footing in acting?
All I can say is when I first started off, I never took it as a career. I never looked at it that way. I literally was the fame chaser. I was out there trying to become famous. That was the number one goal, was to become famous, and not basically polishing the craft and learning to love acting. That was, I think, the biggest take on it is learning that you can take, I kind of look at it like Halloween in a sense, right? Every character is different. So you're putting on a different costume, but you're really trying to make that costume that you're putting on you and make it real as possible. And I never looked at it that way when I was younger. I always kind of looked at it as, oh, I want to meet this person. I'm going to meet this person. Then I'm going to become rich and famous. And I always tell people, fame, you can't chase fame, and fame doesn't choose you. I mean, you don't choose fame, fame chooses you. So at the end of the day, I learned, like, at this point of my career, I do it because I love to act. I love the craft of acting, and I love to be as much of an entertainer as I possibly can.
Yeah, and change your idea of what success is, right? Like,
absolutely,
what you define as successful in your industry. Are you working on anything now that this movie is over, wrapped, and premiering this weekend? What are you working on?
So we just finished right before this. I have a movie on Amazon Prime that was a lead role that I did called Don't Break the Rules. I am a crazy horror genre person. I love my horror films. And then we did a film called A Dog's Life, and that's on Tubi. And then the next film that I'm working on right now, I'm doing the stunt training for Brothers Keeper. I'm the stunt choreographer for this film, and then I'm doing a small cameo role helping out. And it's a series that's actually on Tubi already. So they're in their third season of the series. So I'm looking forward to doing that. We're actually filming this weekend, literally right after the red carpet.
Oh, wow. Well, don't make it another 4 years before you come back and talk about what you're up to. What do you love most about your life right now?
Living. I love being able to just wake up and facilitate my day without it being like overly stressful. I know there's a lot of people out there that live their life and like everything can be cumbersome because they don't like their workspace. And I'm fortunate enough to run my own company. I do personal training on the side as a celebrity trainer. And then in my acting community, I try to help out as many people as I can and try to just immerse myself as much as I can into the acting community. I'm in the process right now of obtaining a manager and going a different route with my acting. So the next couple of years is going to be kind of getting up to the SAG and joining SAG and being a part of that and taking the career to another step. I feel like I love the independent world, but as an artist, in order for me to blossom, I have to step it up a little bit.
Yeah. And that's what, like, again, what we were talking about, like what your, definition of success is and the steps you take. I love that. And you've always been so supportive of other actors in the area. Sometimes it can be very cliquey and cutthroat, and you're always so supportive. And I think that's why people gravitate toward you, because you're always there to help people, and that's so great. What is the best way people can connect with you and follow you?
I have a Facebook, which is Keekee Suki, Keekee, and it's Suki. And then I have my Instagram, same thing, Keekee Suki on Instagram and Facebook. that's the best ways. And then eventually, like I said, once my manager takes over my career, then you're going to have to go through her, unfortunately. But you know how
Yeah,
that
I
works.
won't be able to just Facebook messenger you anymore to get you on this show. It's going to be a process now. I'll have to work for it. Well, thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad to have you on. Have fun this weekend.
Oh, thank you so much.
Congratulations. Yeah.
And I just want to say, everybody out there, thank you so much for supporting Dragon's Eye Media, Keekee Suki, and thank you, Richard, for bringing me on. And don't forget, it's Saturday night, 6 p.m. is a red carpet, City-Based Cinemas. You can go to citybasedcinemas.com to buy your tickets. And we have a 7:30 showing with plenty of seats available. So if you want a perfect seat, now's the time to get your tickets.
I can't wait to see all the pictures online of everybody at the premiere. It's going to be fun. I wish I was there.
Thank you again for having me. I really appreciate it. And I know I'm a little scraggly, but it's for this next role. So, you know.
I wish I had an excuse. Mine's just I need to go to the barber. So at least you have an excuse. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back after this. Thank you so much.
You know what would be better than watching this commercial? Watching your commercial. Join the party that is Make Your Day Richer TV by advertising your brand, business, or project during the show. Use us to promote what you're doing to make our viewers' day richer. Scan the QR code or visit makeyourdayricher.com/advertising to start promoting today.
And we're back. All right. Hey, we have a great show tomorrow. And today almost went off without a hitch. There were a few little bumps, but we made it. Thanks everyone for watching. We have a really great show tomorrow. A Christmas Carol, a live radio play, opens on Friday at the Waxhaw Community Theater. And Gregory Watson will be here tomorrow to talk all about that show. I have my tickets for opening night, so I hope you'll join us. Hey, go to our gift guide and go pick up some cookies on National Cookie Day. The gift guide is available at makeyourdayricher.com/shop. All kinds of fun stuff there, including these cookies. All right. Enjoy your day, everyone. Go make your day richer. Go make someone else's day richer. You've made mine by watching the show, and I love you for it. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Bye-bye.